Honestly, this has become like a social experiment to me. So after watching this video, I need you to comment your sign and whether or not you do this, whether it's intentional or unintentionally. Every Capricorn I know at some point has manifested through orgasm. And I feel like it's a Capricorn thing at this point. I don't know if it's because we're such a materialistic sign, in theory, like a materialistic sign, or if it's that like Capricorn craving for power, but legit, I've come across multiple people who tell me that either their Capricorn friends do this or Capricorn friends that say they do this as well without even realizing that it was like a form of manifestation. And so this is like a social experiment. Comment your sign. I want to know. I need to know if it's a Capricorn thing. And honestly, I feel like if you're not masturbating to your innermost desires, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you thinking about? What else is there really to think about during that moment? I don't know. I literally just got to the park. This heavy breathing and sweat is from the walkover, which was only 13 minutes. So, yeah. Wow. So for those of you who don't know me, hi, hello, my name is Sydney, and today I wanted to share one of my favorite ways to manifest. I was thinking about how I want to talk about it and what I want to say, and honestly, like, thinking about it actively in my head, I almost sound like insane. I feel like it sounds insane, but I'm gonna share it anyways because it's what I do. So I guess it would be considered a form of sex magic. I don't know if I could say that. One of the most common ways that I actively manifest is through orgasm. And I came across this topic, I feel like I legitimately came across this topic from another creator. She's very big, her name is Hitomi, but it was something that I had already kind of been doing since before I kind of had a name or a term or like a conscious understanding of what it was I was doing beforehand. And this has been something that I've done for years, like many years. And it's something that can be done regardless of whether or not you have a partner. A lot of times I'll just do this on my own because I am able to better concentrate on myself and my desires versus like being with someone else and being with my partner. And I feel like outside of simply just doing this for the purpose of manifestation alone, I feel like since doing this, I found a lot more comfort in my body. And as someone who grew up with a heavily religious Christian background, I feel like exploring this aspect of myself felt very taboo and wrong at first, but I think I've grown a lot honestly since doing this practice, and I've grown to be a lot more comfortable in my body and comfortable with my own power since then. If you're someone who comes from that type of background and feeling comfortable in your own skin and exploring your sexual energy is something that you struggle with, I would recommend maybe just trying it out and taking it slow and feeling around and seeing how maybe your perspective changes towards yourself and maybe towards that type of energy as well. I'm in a very public space, so I'm trying to talk quietly, but there's like 2 people here. But we're gonna push ourselves. We're gonna push ourselves because I can do this. So just a little more context about me and why I feel like this form of manifestation works so well for me is because I am a generator. On top of that, I am a conscious manifesting generator, which means that in order for me to manifest things into my life, I actively think of them, I script, I visualize, and I do best when I am very actively and consciously pulling in the things that I'd like to manifest. So as a conscious manifester, essentially I have a lot of intention and I push a lot of intention behind my manifestations, and the process is sort of like at will for me. The amount of intention that I put behind my actions and the things that I do and my visions essentially pulls in what it is that I'm trying to manifest. I feel like that's why it works so well for me too, because when I am manifesting in this way, in essence, I'm visualizing what I want, I'm connecting it to feeling, and I essentially work with the sensations and the energy and the power within myself to imagine that my desires and my visions are being pulled in, and I connect those feelings with what it is that I am trying to manifest, if that makes sense. So for example, one of the most recent things that I was trying to manifest was a new living space, a new apartment that felt genuine to me. It felt like a place that I could be comfortable in, a place that I wanted to be creative and grow in. And so in essence, I visualized that space in my mind. I was very specific. I try to be as specific as possible when I do manifest. Not that I'm attached to any specific outcome, but I feel like the more clear you are in your intentions and your manifestations, it's a lot easier to see that manifest in your life. And so for me, in those moments, it looks like me visualizing how I would feel in that space and what it might look like and what I would be doing in that space. And I simply script in my mind, I guess you could say. But I'm a very visual person, so I can literally like see myself in that space and what I'm doing and how I feel. And as I feel that energy build up within myself, I use that to propel my manifestation and my vision to the point of climax. And at that point, that is when I release that energy into the world around me. And like I said, when I say this out loud, I don't know, maybe I feel like the girls that get it. And so it's not that insane, but I feel like explaining it with the understanding that people that don't do this might watch this video and be listening to what I'm saying. I feel like it sounds a little crazy, but I've done it for so long and I really feel like it works. I'm not gonna say I'm some like master manifester, you know. I feel like with every manifestation and desire you have, there should be a healthy level of detachment as well. And so even when the things I'm trying to manifest don't come to fruition, I'm not really disappointed. I feel like whether you want something and you desire it or not, things happen the way that they're meant to happen. And I feel like every single thing that you want to manifest and you desire doesn't necessarily need to belong to you. You know, I feel like it's really hard for us to sometimes decipher whether or not something is truly for us or if it's just a want. So I have a very detached perspective about my manifestations. I wouldn't say that since doing this, everything I've ever wanted has been manifested, but I will say that in general, I feel like my life is aligned enough for me to see the things that I desire come to fruition. So I think that's pretty awesome. All right, I started walking because I am in a tourist location and a lot of people started showing up and I got kind of nervous. So I'm gonna keep moving. Yeah, like I was saying, I just think that's like really beautiful to be able to communicate with yourself in that way and to speak to yourself in that way and to listen back and see how your body is reacting to the things that, you know, mentally you feel connected to, but in a full body sensation wise, like where does that connection sit and what does it feel like? This is probably the most significant way that I do manifest. I think more than like journaling or scripting or doing anything physical, I probably do this the most. And don't feel any pressure to be like specific with what it is you're manifesting. I've manifested an array of things. And if you're someone who does have a partner, I've manifested with my partner. I've also manifested a deeper connection, manifested the growth and beauty of that relationship. It's important to put intention behind everything in your life, all aspects. And so I most definitely used it to find and create more intimacy in my relationships and to put more intention behind its growth and the love that we share. It's really easy, and I feel like once you get into it and once you really learn how to speak to your body, it becomes easier, and I feel like it comes even more powerful. Let me show you guys a view though. Like, look how beautiful this is. The city is so beautiful. I've said it once and I'll say it a million times more. The city is so gorgeous. All right guys, but I think that's it for today. So thank you so much for tuning in and listening. Don't forget to subscribe and also leave your sign down below. Comment your sign. I need to know who else does this and what their sign is and how they were led to it. I think that's so interesting. So yeah, let me know. Okay, bye guys.